Why do some fathers abandon their children? It's a very big and complex topic. Hi, my name is Kasim, and for the last year, I've been studying the social and psychological reasons as to why some fathers abandon their children. And people have been asking me, Cass, like, why are you studying this subject? These men are deadbeats, they're assholes, no one likes them, they're pathetic, they're useless. Yes, but part of the reason why I had to study this topic, I didn't want to study this topic, but I had to study the topic, was because basically in my therapy, I have a counseling practice, which is specifically aimed at boys and men. And what I began to realize is that some of the male clients who were coming to see me, right, there is this rhetoric that we have in society, or this narrative, which is like, if you've got a really incredible mother, if you've got men in your life, if you've got uncles and other male figures in your life, then you'll be fine. By the way, the research genuinely backs it up. And we can see that in lesbian couples and gay couples. It doesn't really make that much difference in the quality of the life that the child has, as long as they're modeled good values, they have positive influences and all of this kind of stuff. The child doesn't actually have to be raised by their biological father. But, hold on. There is a cohort of boys and men which I saw in my therapy who they do need their biological fathers. And these are men who I don't really know how to explain it, but they have a personality type where they very much need and operate on a hierarchy. This is where you see a lot of these boys who have to have their biological father. They'll either end up in gangs, they'll end up in prison, they'll end up being very abusive, they'll end up in very high positions of power, because to them, you may not agree with this, but to them, they view the world through a hierarchical, or what many women would call a patriarchal kind of viewpoint. And what I've realized is these men, they yearn for their biological fathers. And even though a lot of the time they've been raised by uncles and good stepfathers and good role models, they still yearn for their biological father. So part of the reason why I wanted to study this subject is I wanted to understand what's the difference, and why is it that some boys grow up with their mum, they have a great life, they turn out to be great kids, life is great, but then there seems to be this cohort of boys and men who just, they don't, things get worse for them.